The protective parts or the child pushes the CEO out of the head of the table. They take a seat and they start making decisions in our life. So you take a leap. Here comes your protective part, wants to sabotage. You acknowledge her. You say, I see you. I understand why you're scared. You walk her back to her seat. You validate her feelings. You say, thank you for trying to protect us. But honey, you deserve a break.
Hey babe, I'm Brooke Jean, licensed therapist, coach, mama, and your straight talking guide to ditching the pressure and living a life unperfected. I've coached some of the top C-suite women in America, women leading billion-dollar companies while secretly falling apart. I've been her. I blend psychology, neuroscience, and energetics with lived experience to help high-achieving women actually heal, so that they can access their infinite energy, creativity, and vitality. If you're a perfection-obsessed woman who's checked every damn box, career, family, house, 401k, but still feels low-key dead inside, you're in the right place. Here, we rip off the good girl mask, call out the BS, and build a life that actually feels like yours. We talk healing, we talk revealing, we talk rising, and we do it raw, real, and unfiltered. This is the Unperfected Pod.
Hello, 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 beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Unperfected Pod. I'm Brooke Jean, your host, and I am so happy and grateful that you are here. I want to start today's conversation with just a little life update. So for those of you that have been following along on the Instagrams, I just got back from the life retreat. So I am part of Sam Skelly's Life Mastermind group. I have been for over a year and a half now. And once a year we get together and we dive deep into the inner work, the energetic work, the heart coherence, the soul alignment, the collaboration and co-creation with other gorgeous beings. And we basically just have the time of our lives. So this year, it was a little bit different. We ended up going to Idlewild, which is one of Sam's happy place in California. And we stayed at this retreat center. And we had kind of like a adult summer camp because we really wanted to honor the importance of play in the creation of whatever it is you're trying to create in your life. We really wanted to tap into the imagination, the spirit, and the unbound energy of the freaking inner child, while also taking care of that inner child so that we could create. Okay, so today's topic that I want to discuss is how success isn't linear. Success is not linear. And everything that we did at this retreat is a perfect example of the work that I believe we must do if we want long-term sustainable success. So we flew into Palm Springs, and then we drove up to Idlewild. And, you know, your girl, I don't know if you guys remember, but when I went on my retreat in Ireland, your girl threw up on the party bus. So I was super nervous, anxious, and scared that I was going to be the problem child again. But here's the good news, friends. We did not get sick on the bus headed up to Idlewild. And we got there and we got checked in, and super cute little like glamping campground. We all had our own little casitas, our own little cabins, which I think is so important. Like when you're getting together for a retreat and you're doing the deep inner work and you're around people all the time, it's important to have a quiet space to go home to where you can actually sit in your own energy and integrate and reflect and like do all the weird things that you do as a person that you don't want anyone to know that you do. Okay. So we had our own little cabins and the week was phenomenal. So we started with, we get to do all the fun breath work. Like Sam Skelly is one of the most phenomenal keynote speakers and facilitators in the world. So being able to be in her space doing multiple breathwork experiences a day to help you unlock the truth of who you are and to tap into your true frequency and the frequency of the divine is just like that alone is reason enough for me to be obsessed with these retreats. But we got to do all of the fun stuff that we normally do with her, the breathwork experiences, the dance parties, the fires, all the things. But day one was really about taking time uninterrupted from your life, your children, your responsibilities, the noise of what everyone else is doing, social media, to take time to actually remember, like, what is this all for? What is my personal mission on this planet? Why am I here? What is the work I'm here to do? So if you're a business owner, if you're a leader, if you're a mother, when was the last time that you took a time out to really ask yourself, like, what's it all for? Like, why am I here? Like, when I get really still and really quiet and I turn down the noise of the conditioned mind and I open up my energy and I open up my channels of communication to my own intuition and all the things, it's like, I know that I am here to lift the frequency of the planet. I know that my energy is my superpower. I know that I am here to remind people that life gets to be fun and silly and humorous, and that we can do hard things so that we can create lives that we're actually obsessed with. And sometimes we can get really distracted from the vision that we see ourselves in the everyday noise, right? And so we do lots of visualization where we connect to the highest and best version of us doing the thing we want to do, right? And I've actually created a guided visualization connecting to your inner CEO all about this. But the first day was really about like, why am I here? What is my freaking personal mission? And then what is the vision? Like, how do I see myself leading this movement, right? So it's like me up on a stage at the mom event of the year, and I'm the keynote speaker, and I'm, we're laughing, we're crying, we're dancing, there's music, and we're just remembering the truth of who we are, and we're reclaiming our power and our purpose, and we're stepping into leadership in a way that is core to who we are. And because women are waking up and the fire in me is igniting the fire in them, we are working together to create a world that we feel proud to pass down to our children and our grandchildren and their children. We are remembering that we are love, and that from a place of love is how we should be starting businesses, growing businesses, being of service, taking care of our families, serving our communities. We are remembering that we create from our wombs and dusting off the shame of our lady parts so that we can like remember, like, wow, I get to connect to this part of my body where I actually download all these juicy ideas of things that I want to do in the world, right? And so day one was just about like remembering, like, who are we? Why are we here? What is the mission? What is the vision? And what are our values, right? Our values, our guiding principles, mine, purpose, pleasure, and playfulness. Everything that I stand for falls under those three buckets, right? Purpose, pleasure, playfulness. Energy falls under that. Growth falls under that. Leadership falls under that. Healing falls under that. Dance falls under that. Beach falls under that. Like humor falls under that. Love, relationships, everything that I stand for falls under there. So day one was just about like stripping the noise of what everyone else is doing and like getting right with your own soul and spirit and energy and being like, why the heck am I here? That is alone such a powerful practice to get into as a woman, as a mother, as a leader, right? And so that was kind of like fun and light and airy. And then day two, honey, Day 2, we jumped right on in to the inner child work. And we jumped in the deep end. And I had a really stretchy growth moment on day 2 because one of the intentions that I had going into the retreat was to learn how to be playful without feeling the pressure to please and be performative. So I am doing this like deep inner work where I'm starting to tease apart like who Brooke Jean really is, which is playful, which does like to dance and sing and perform and make people laugh and talk on stages and inspire people. But throughout different stages and phases of my life, it's become a way to get validation. It's become a way to please others. It's become a way to perform. And so what I'm trying to do is peel off the layers that aren't the purest truth of who I am so that I can continue to bring forth the cleanest frequency and expression of who I am. And so we all got to name that in front of each other, which is vulnerable AF, but we're doing the work. So what I was realizing on day 2 was like, wow, the antidote to performing and pleasing is receiving and pleasure. And why, as women, is it so doggone hard to receive? Like, we are experts at taking care of others, at knowing what needs to be done, jumping in. Like, we can sense a problem, honey, before it's even manifested. And we can solve the world's problems before it's ever even been put on our to-do list. Like, we are all over it. We know how to take care of our families, our children, our teams, our clients. We know how to give. And that is a beautiful part of being a woman. But it's not balanced with receiving. And what I'm learning about what it means to be a woman is that when we receive love, support, abundance, attention, affection, attunement, beauty, when we receive and we get to a place of overflow, well, then we naturally give this love, abundance, radiance to others. But what we're doing instead is we're not receiving. We're not giving from a place of overflow. We're giving from empty. And that's becoming problematic because it leads to anger, resentment, disappointment, burnout. I mean, your own needs aren't being met. And so I had this like epiphany, like, holy crap, I suck at receiving still, but I'm still always trying to give. And what if I could lean back sometimes instead of leaning in to take care of everything? If I lean back and I receive, then it could be easier for me to show up and give my energy, my playful spirit from such a squeaky clean place because it's just pure abundance. It's like pure desire versus I have to. And so, of course, I raised my hand to like share this aha that I'm having of like, oh my God, like as women, we really truly struggle to receive. Like we are infantile with this. Like we do not know how to do this. It is extraordinarily awkward, uncomfortable. The second someone gives you a compliment, you're returning the compliment. The second someone tries to do something for you, you're like, well, now I'm going to owe you one. Everything has to be equal. We're definitely keeping score. Like what? And so my coach was like, can we play with you? And you got to know that when Sam says, can we play with you, dude, you're about to go on a ride. Okay. And I was like, I begrudgingly was like, sure, go ahead. So she had another woman in the mastermind who's known me for a year and a half now. Shout out to Amy, a beautiful being in the mastermind. She's also someone that lives near me. She lives in Boulder. I've had her breathe my mastermind girls. We did the Ireland retreat together. So I know this woman quite well. And she had us like sit Indian style and face each other while the entire group watched, and have her speak soul to soul, heart to heart, what she sees in me. And when I tell you, I have never been so uncomfortable in my entire life. When she started saying kind things about me and about the person that I am and the light that I bring and the powerhouse and the mother and the da da da, and everyone's staring at me, guys, I wanted to run. Okay. My skin was itchy. And I'm like, wow, I have some real work to do here. And so I tried to be with it. I tried to breathe through it. I tried to allow myself to find safety in the being seen. I tried to let some of it in. I tried to like let other people see me, and I'm crying and I'm emotional and I'm like telling myself it's okay. And in all of this, guys, there is like deep inner child reprogramming happening. Because somewhere along the way, we learned that like it's not safe to be the center of attention. And if you are the center of attention, it's too much. And you don't want to be selfish and you don't want to be da 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 da. And so in this moment, I am like retraining my system that it is safe to be seen fully. It is safe to be on that stage in the spotlight. It is safe for someone to say kind words and for me to just shut up and listen and not feel like I need to reciprocate. It is safe for me to emotionally release what I'm feeling without wondering that people are going to judge me or think I'm this or think I'm that. And so this was really profound for me, guys, because it was me saying, wow, I've learned some things about receiving that have made me believe I always have to be in the giving and the pleasing and the performing energy. But now I get to lean back and receive. And when my heart is full, when my tank is full, then I get to give from a pure place of overflow. And then, y'all, we had to do an exercise where with a different partner where we basically said from our inner child to our partner our deepest fears about ourselves. Like, I'm afraid that I'm inherently bad. I'm afraid that I'm unlovable. I'm afraid that I'm too much. I'm afraid that I'm not smart enough. And the person would just hold space and go, and there's so much love for that. And there's so much love for that. And there's so much love for that. So that was also really intense. But here's why this work matters. Okay. Well, actually, let me tell you, day 3 was then actually collaborating with our sisters on how to bring our big vision to life. So if your big vision is to be a keynote speaker, who do you know? Let's get it on the books. If your big vision is to run the mom event of the century, let's get that going. If your big event is to be an author, let's get that going. If your big event is to get 2 clients, let's make that happen. Like, let's actually make it happen while we're here, which is also so powerful. But it led me to this conversation that I want to have with you, which is like success and growth is not linear. So if you're like me, we have a lot of drive in us to do great things in the world. We want to help people. We want to make an impact. We want to contribute. And so we go out into the world and we take risks. We start the business. We ask for the promotion. We put ourselves out there. But every time we do that, you have to know that your fears and your protective parts are going to come out to play. And all those scary stories that you've had deep in your unconscious since you were a child, like, who do I think I am? And I'm not good enough. And people don't actually like me. And I don't deserve this. They're going to start to come out and try to sabotage you. And so while you take that bold move or that bold risk, we also need to tend to the parts that show up and are scared. And so instead of success being linear, I do this and it leads me to that, and then it leads me to that, and I make more money and I get more visibility. That is not at all how it goes in my experience. It's, I take a leap of faith, and here comes my protective parts, my controller, my manager, my judger, my perfectionist, my sabotager, my drinker, my eater, we all have different protective parts. That comes out. And instead of just shoving it down and pretending like we're good, we need to acknowledge those fears. We need to acknowledge those parts. We need to love them back to wholeness. So I've taught you guys about the CEO table of life, where you sit at the head of a long, beautiful dining table. And when you're in your highest self, your soul, your spirit, the version of you that is whole and like already has everything that she could ever need to create a beautiful life. I call that the inner CEO. In IFS therapy, they call that the self. In the spiritual community, they call that the higher self. She sits at the head of the table, and there are assigned seats for all your inner children, your inner teenager, your other parts, your protective parts, your managers, and your firefighters. But when we get triggered, the protective parts or the child pushes the CEO out of the head of the table. They take a seat and they start making decisions in our life. And our job, in order to sustain long-term growth, evolution, and success over a lifetime, is to keep managing those parts back to their assigned seat with so much love and compassion, with so much admiration, and then reclaiming our spot as the inner CEO and making decisions from there. So you take a leap. Here comes your protective part, wants to sabotage. You acknowledge her. You say, I see you. I understand why you're scared. This is new. This is different. This puts us in a space of vulnerability. You walk her back to her seat. You validate her feelings. You say, thank you for trying to protect us, but honey, you deserve a break. So let me give you something else to focus on, because I got this now. But we got to do that work, and then we come back, and then we take another step, right? And with each step comes another layer of healing, of acknowledging, of honoring, of moving this stuff through our mind, body, and spirit, and energetically. And I think people either A, don't know that this happens. Like maybe you just don't know that anytime you do something new, your nervous system is going to say absolutely not. Your brain has evolved to keep you safe and to do it with the least amount of energy. So every time you say yes to speaking on a stage, or hit record on your podcast, or go talk to a group, or put yourself out there to date again, or do whatever you do, your nervous system and your brain are like, absolutely not. That is not what we do. Let's play it small. Let's play it safe. Let's reel it back, because to put ourselves in that position means we can get hurt. We can get judged. We can get abandoned. We could get rejected. We can look stupid. So you just got to know, like, that's what your biology is going to do. From a psychological standpoint, you have parts, right? So you have a child that was humiliated or shamed about taking the spotlight, or being selfish, or being too emotional, or being too much. And because that shame was so hurtful, that you built this protector that came in and said, I'm going to make sure that never happens again. We are never going to be too much. We are never going to be too loud. We are going to be perfect. We are going to be a pleaser. We're going to control the situation. It's going to look good, sound good, be perfect. We're not going to ruffle feathers. And that's a protector. But your protector is just this extraordinary level of intelligence that's preventing your inner child from feeling shame. But the work is, I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm going to love on my protector, and I'm going to use my somatic tools to deal with shame. I'm going to move it out of my body by talking about it, crying about it, dancing it out, stomping it out, screaming it out, whatever your method is. And so that's what I mean when I say success isn't linear. You take a step forward and boom, here comes your sabotager. It feels like a step back, but it's a way for you to tend to your root system. It's a way for you to grow your capacity to handle rejection, judgment, right? One of my coaches says this a lot. We manifest at the speed of safety. Write this down. Tracy Litt said this. We manifest at the speed of safety. So you can want all day long $1 million business, more clients, bigger stages, more impact. But the second that those eyeballs come on you, the second the feedback comes to you, the second the possible judgment, rejection, haters, if your nervous system isn't primed to handle duality, pain and pleasure, you're immediately going to reject it. You're going to freak out. You're going to freeze. You're going to run. You're going to sabotage it. You're going to burn the whole thing down. So this nervous system regulation and parts work and energy work is really necessary for your growth and your success. Because if you're calling in more visibility, honey, what can your nervous system handle? Are you doing the practices? Are you breathing? Are you meditating? Are you doing the work so you don't literally traumatize yourself being in front of a bunch of people? It's not what more can I do? It's what is my system ready for? Is she ready to be seen? Is she ready to hold the space? Is she ready for people to misunderstand her, to poke at her, to talk bad about her? So we manifest at the speed of safety. So the more you want to do, the more safety you need to establish in your system. And that's the parts work. That's the nervous system regulation. That's the somatic work of moving stuff out of your body. And that's why growth and success aren't linear. You take a step forward, and there's a part of you that's going to be scared, and you want to love on that part and use all your tools to grow your capacity for duality, pain and pleasure. And then you go again to the next level. Guess what? There's new fears. There's new beliefs that are bubbling up to the surface about what we're worthy of, deserving of, what's possible. Do the work as you go, my love, because we see this like in the fame industry or in the celebrity industry. When people get famous before they've done any sort of nervous system work, what happens? It's so sad. It's heartbreaking. They turn to drugs and alcohol. They run away completely. They burn it all down. It's like they weren't able to create the safety in their bodies and in their nervous systems and with their parts. They were just overnight famous. And that takes a toll on a human being's system. And so I also think it's important that we do things at a pace that we feel comfortable with. You don't want to be an overnight success. I want 1% more success each day, 1% more visibility, 1% more impact, 1% more leadership, 1% more groundedness in my system to be able to handle that responsibility. But if I'm suddenly got millions of eyeballs on me and my nervous system wigs out, I'm going to sabotage. And so maybe you've already done that. Maybe you've already jumped in the deep end or hit overnight success or put yourself on a stage before you were ready and felt frozen. That's just your brain and body doing what brain and bodies do. So what I would rather us do is this delicate dance. I almost see it like a figure 8. Like if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing with my hands, where it's like we make moves in our lives and we go out there and we do things. And then here comes our protective parts that we need to deal with. And then the feelings that we need to feel underneath that. And we're good. We establish groundedness, safety, and then we go and we take another step and then another layer and then another step. And sometimes something really big happens and you go 10 steps backwards. That's because you're ready to really water a deep root. Guys, the stronger the roots, the taller the tree. The more that you plant your roots and you tend to the garden, you make sure that the soil is nourishing and you make sure that it gets the right amount of water and sunlight and love and energy. And if a big storm comes in, you're tending to it, you're protecting it. That is your nervous system. Okay? We want to strengthen the roots so the tree can grow. And it's not one or the other. They get to happen at the same time. I water my roots, I grow. I get triggered, I water some more, I grow. I get set back, I water a lot more, I grow. And so these retreats, these experiences are a way for us to go and water our roots, to face the parts of us that are scared of our own success or failure, to face the lies that we've been subscribing to our entire lives that tell us we're not good enough or smart enough or pretty enough, or we don't have what it takes, or we won't handle it well, or we don't feel good enough, or our mental health isn't stable enough, or blah, 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 blah. Tend to those parts, my love. Because here's the other thing that's really cool. When you settle down your protector, right? And then you actually let yourself feel the loneliness, the rejection, the shame, the rage, whatever it is that your protector didn't want you to feel. And you somatically move that through your body by crying, singing, chanting, meditating, breath work, dance. That's my new favorite one. Then what is there to fear? If you actually face the impermissible feelings that you've spent your entire life avoiding feeling, and you sit with them, and you metabolize them, and you move them out of your system, what is there to fear? Look at your biggest fear right now. My biggest fear is I'm going to put myself out there and get canceled. Okay, so then I feel the rejection of that. That's not going to kill me. Is it going to suck? Sure. It's not going to kill me. What if nobody buys my program? Okay, that's going to suck. That's not ideal. Is it going to kill me? What if my husband leaves me? That's going to suck. It's not ideal. Is that going to kill me? When you're willing to sit with the most unpleasant feelings a human being can tolerate, and you're actually safe and okay, then baby, nothing is out of the realm of possibility for you. Nothing. We are getting in our own way. But when we face the parts of us that are shameful because they're the sabotagers, and we make peace with them while feeling the impermissible feelings that they're trying to protect us from, what can stop you? So my protective parts, the manager is the perfectionist, the anxiety, the controller, and the firefighter is the rager, the drinker, the eater, the one that'll just burn the whole house down. Once I faced the ugliest parts of me, my protectors, and I made peace with them, and I said, thank you for doing what you could to make us not feel shame, doing what you could to make us be safe in the world, doing what you could so we would be loved and validated. I see you. Thank you. Here's flowers. Now take a break. What can you do to me if I've made peace with the ugliest parts of me? Think about that. You want to talk about building real confidence? Building real confidence is facing the ugliest parts of ourselves and actually being like, nah, it's all right. Okay. So I'll burn the house down. Okay. So I'll get drunk. Okay. So I'll rage. Okay. Not ideal. Not coming. That's not my highest self. But I know that that's what I do when I get really scared. And if I make peace with that and I use my tools, then what is there to fear anyway? So this is really important, guys, not just with success, but I feel like just with life in general. You know, people are afraid to love again after divorce. And it's like, if you have sat in the excruciating pain of losing someone you love, whether it's to death or divorce or a life loss, and you have lived through that pain, what is there to fear? you might as well go all out, balls out for your life. You might as well be in the arena, as Brene Brown starts. You might as well be vulnerable. You might as well put yourself out there. You might as well go for it, queen, because the level of pain that you can tolerate matches the level of pleasure and bliss and vitality. And the more that we try to protect ourselves from being hurt, the more we deflect the good stuff. So we gotta grow our capacity to hold pain. We gotta grow our capacity to feel ugly feelings. We gotta get right with the parts of us that we're so ashamed of. Because then what is there to fear? If everybody turns on me, but I still like me, because I have faced all of me, then what is there to fear? So success is an inside job, because it's not about what more can I do. Yeah, I love doing things. I love executing. I love strategy. I always will. But you will manifest to the level of safety. And if you have not made peace with yourself, if you are not walking around with a regulated nervous system, if you are not taking care of yourself, then you're wise. You know, I can't handle the biggest love of my life. I'm going to panic. I can't handle a big stage. I'm going to shit my pants. I can't handle a book deal. I'm going to get wasted. I can't handle. But you actually can. So let's get busy proving to ourselves that we can handle the hardest of hard, the yuckiest feelings, the most uncomfortable things. We can face and make peace with the parts of us that we are ashamed of. And we can actually get right with ourselves, because when we do, baby, there is nothing to fear and your success is inevitable. So success is not linear. It's a figure eight. It's circular. It's messy. Each time you go through a hard thing, instead of falling into the like, oh no, why is that happening to me? I want you to go, oh, what is this revealing to me about me that I'm ready to heal and integrate? Oh man, I got triggered. That hurt really bad. Thank you for showing me a place and space inside of me that I need to make peace with. Oh man, I'm really scared and I'm falling into this upper limit self-sabotaging. Thank you for showing me where my upper limit is. How can I regulate my system and double down on my self-care and self-nourishment so that I can handle more? Because I want more, but I'm scared. Name it, normalize it. We're all scared. There's nothing worse than human rejection and human loneliness. But if you are like, I can handle that, then why not make the pitch? Why not date again? Why not write the book? Why not lead the show? Why not do the thing? Do it, baby. So the unperfected movement is about facing all of you and being cool with it so that you can live from the place of truth of who you are, so that you can have the audacity to go for your dreams. It's messy. So what? You can do hard things. I can do hard things. We can do hard things. If you need more support in regulating your nervous system, get with us. Let's do some brain spotting. If you need to move some rage and resentment out of your body, I'm going to be offering dance alchemy classes in person and online, literally starting the end of June. Make sure you're on my email list so you can be the first to know, right? Get a therapist, get a coach, go jogging, do pottery, do something. Do something to tend to yourself, my love, because the more you can handle, the bigger and better life is going to get for you. And so while day 2 of this retreat was absolutely brutal, I mean, I cried the whole day and the whole night. I was like, how do I even have any more tears, bro? Oh, I had more tears. It was a massive watering of a massive root that then allows me to come home and be like, let's go, baby. If I had to face a person and tell them all the things that I'm deeply so afraid of inside myself, and that was held with love, if I had to be witnessed by 30 people while someone gave me compliments and I was like snot bubble crying, if I can handle what? Let's go. Let's create the movement. Let's create the offers. Let's start an event. Let's speak on bigger stages. Let's go, baby. So, success is not linear. With each new level comes a protector that you need to love back to life. And this is the work that I get to guide successful women like you through every single day. And it is worth work doing, because the more inner work you do, the more your external reality begins to shift. And the more that you heal, the more that you reveal the truth of who you are. And it's from that truth frequency that I need you creating lives, leadership, and business from. We need to get busy creating a world that we are not ashamed to pass down to our kids. We are going to do that from a healed place, from heart coherence, from authentic expression. My way is different than yours, but baby, I don't care what it is. I just want to see the real truth of who you are. And from that place, we are going to come up with solutions to problems that we haven't been able to solve as a collective. We are going to parent different. We are going to love different. We are going to teach different, lead different. We're going to create things we haven't thought of before. But we got to do the inner work. And the more you do the work, the more you can handle. And then the more the universe goes, here you go. Here's a promotion. Here's the love of your life. Here's a stage to speak on. Here's a person to partner with. Here's a paycheck for 50 grand, whatever it is. So may you choose to do this adventure of tending to all the parts of you that get scared, so that you can live a life that you're so freaking proud of, so that you can leave a legacy, but only from a place of truth, not performing, not pleasing, not perfecting, just truth. It gets to be fun. It gets to be playful. It gets to be messy. Let's just be in it together. What could be possible? All right, my loves. That's it for now. The retreat was off the hook. Your girl is going gangbusters. I'm going to spend the next 3 days getting trained to be a dance alchemy facilitator. I'm going to be leading dance parties world freaking wide. I want us to teach our daughters how to move emotion out of their bodies so they don't have eating disorders and drinking problems and shitty relationships and tolerate bad behavior. Like, we're going to heal together. We're going to heal together, and we're going to do it in a way that I'm obsessed with, which is dance. So I have that coming up this weekend. I'm so excited. There's a lot happening behind the scenes in the business. There's stuff happening behind the scenes with VidMe. And I'm just going to keep sharing with you guys as we go all the beautiful things that are unfolding. So I love you. Take care of yourself and therefore each other. And I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye for now.
Hey boo, if you made it this far, I know you're serious about healing, revealing, and rising, living a life unperfected. Just by showing up, you're telling the universe, I matter, I'm ready. So don't be surprised if things start shifting in your favor. If this episode moved you, do me a favor, rate and review the podcast on Apple or Spotify. It helps us reach more high-achieving, high-performing women who are ready to stop pretending and start living. And if something really landed, DM me on Instagram @BrookeJeanUnperfected or share a clip and tag me. I want to see what's moving through you. And hey, don't forget, you can watch this episode on YouTube and join my brand new VidMe membership for exclusive content, coaching, and community for only $35 a month. We're not just talking about rising, we're doing it together.